Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Edo Talk. So, how are you? Are you still okay? Or shall I say, are you still breathing? This is Mr. Rosville T. De Los Santos, your speaker. So, I start my Edo Talk with this quote: "It takes a whole village to raise a child," by the African proverb. The education of a child is not the sole responsibility of school heads and teachers. In fact, school heads cannot do it by themselves. The Code of Ethics cites different groups of external stakeholders with whom schools and teachers have to relate and work for the education of the child. One of the stakeholders is the state. So, our main focus for this today's Edo Talk is all about the Article 2 of the Code of Ethics for the Professional Teachers, which is the teacher and the state. So there are 8 sections under this article, and I will elaborate it individually. Right after the 8 sections, I will cite a case in our country that violate this provision. Are you ready to listen? If that's so, lend me your ears. Let's start. The Article 2 Code of Ethics for Professional Teacher, the Teacher, and the State. Section 1. The schools are the nurseries of the citizens of the state. Each teacher is a trustee of the cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is under obligation to transmit to learners such heritage as well as to elevate national morality, promote national pride, cultivates love of country, instill allegiance to the Constitution, and respect for all duly constituted authorities, and promote obedience to the laws of the state. So school is our second home. It is where we gain knowledge and apply it in real life situations. So the teacher are therefore responsible for the cultural and educational heritage of the nation, and he or she is obliged to transmit learners for the national morality. In short, teachers are obliged to promote nationalism. One concrete example is during our flag ceremony, either in elementary or high school years. So our teacher will guide us the correct tune and lyrics of Lupang Hinirang and the do's and don'ts during flag ceremony. Section 2. Every teacher or school official shall actively help carry out the declared policies of the state and shall take an oath to this effect. So the teacher must be a role model and following their oath policies. Example, President Duterte declares that every December 8 is a non-working holiday in observance of the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So the teacher will carry out the declared policies or the teacher persuading the students to follow the law. Hindi yung ikaw ang magsasabi na hindi dapat yan sundin. Section 3. The interest of the state of the people as much as of his own. Every teacher shall be physically, mentally, and morally fit. So the teacher must be physically, mentally, and morally fit to have a conducive learning environment for the students or learners. Example, if the teacher are not feeling well, then he or she still insists to teach, so it might cause chaos. And every time the teacher applies in public or in private, the teacher undergo a neuro exam. So they will check if the teacher are physically, mentally, and morally fit to teach. Section 4. Every teacher shall possess and actualize full commitment and devotion to duty. So the teacher must have a full commitment to the profession. As much as possible, if you become a teacher, dapat ilaan mo yung buhay mo sa pagtuturo. Although, there are three things that might happen, yet, be still committed to your profession. Sabi nga nila na bago ka mag-teacher, dapat magkaroon ka muna ng asawa o jowa. Kasi, kapag naging ganap ka na guro, ay maliit lamang ang tsansa o yung time, or halos wala ka ng time sa mga ganyan. Pero nasa iyo pa rin yun. Section 5. Teacher shall not engage in the promotion of any political, religious, or other partisan interest, and shall not, directly or indirectly, solicit, require, or receive any money, service, other valuable material from any person or entity of such purposes. So the teacher must not involve or promote political, religious, or other interests, and shall not receive any money to any purposes. Example, before the teacher collects money for the school purposes, they will conduct first a PTA meeting, then take a decision in the said meeting. Once approved, it is now the time to collect money. So it must have an approval for the everybody. Section 6. Every teacher shall vote and shall exercise all other constituent rights and responsibilities. So every teacher must vote and shall exercise constitutional rights. In fact, teachers are usually used in election. Therefore, the teacher will be the first or last to vote. The teacher shall exercise the rights to vote. So voting is teachers' participation in the affairs of the state. In Section 7, the teacher shall not use his possession or official authority of influence to coerce other person to follow any political course of action. So the teacher shall not support or influence any person to follow any political course or action, or the teachers are not allowed to join campaign. Example, if you are in a higher position now, so hindi ka pwedeng mamilit ng tao, lalong-lalo na yung may mga maliliit na posisyon na ito dapat ang iboto. So engaging in partisan politics is teachers' abuse of authority. Section 8, or the last section. So every teacher shall enjoy academic freedom and shall have the privilege of sharing the products of his researches and investigations, provided that if the results are inimical to the declared policies of the state, they shall be drawn to the proper authorities for appropriate remedial action. So every teacher must enjoy academic freedom. He or she allows to expand of his or her researchers, but if the result is inimical, then it would be in a proper remedial action. Example, the teacher have an academic freedom on how or what topic to teach. However, this academic freedom is not absolute. It has limits. So that's all for our sections in the article. This time, I will cite a case in our country that violates that provision. First is the Pasig principal in trouble over fee collection. It is where the principal collected fees without a due process. The second one is a must-read decision on the case of grave misconduct. It is where the teachers must in charge in the supervision and care of their students. If you want to know more about it, just click the link beside me. That's it. So I hope you learned something. So this is the end of my Edu Talk. Thank you for listening. God bless. My reference.